everyone, it's Will from Never Odd or Even again. I've just popped in to say hello and to catch up with you on our latest game of phones. Also a little later on in the segment I'm going to have a little bit of a rant. Seems popular to do that, so stay tuned for that as well. So I wanted to start out today by saying thank you to all those who participated in our latest round of game of phones. And we're going to be having another card drawn after I give you the latest results. As you might remember last time, that the scores were Robin 4, Zach 3 and Ben 1, and that was after their fantastic celebrity matching performance, finding people who looked a bit like me. So that's pretty cool. And sorry, there was some celebrity gossip as well, and Robin really maxed out his point scoring with that. So well done, Robin. I am going to take you through now the submissions I made for the last game of phones, which was actually all about cracks on your screen. And so the rules were you weren't allowed to intentionally crack your screen, and you weren't allowed to Google another screen. And I wanted to see cracks on your screen. So we started out first of all with Robin. Robin's entry was the first one in, and that was pretty cool. Fairly minor crack, as you can see up there in the bottom corner of his screen, and the crack is just here. And good work, Robin, for being first in. So that will net you 1 point. Our next entrant was from Ben, who, as you can see, has had a bit of a tough time. Wow, Ben. Anyway, I hope you managed to get that sorted out, but some significant cracks on the screen there. So that's a good point for you, Ben, too. I'm going to give you a point because your cracks are actually significantly more than Robin's, but you weren't first in. So 1 point for Ben. And then the last one was from Braden, a new entry. Thanks, Braden, for joining us. Braden, I think, has not quite understood the rules here, but very creative. As you can see, not cracks on the screen, but apparently crack on the screen. That's right, and a rolled up piece of dosh there as well. So Braden, not quite what we were looking for, but I'm going to give you a point for creativity, which puts you into the competition, and we love to have people engaged in our Game of Phones competition. So that brings our current point scoring to Robin 5, Zach 3, Ben 2 and Braden 1. If you'd like to be part of our Game of Phones competition, then I encourage you to get on board and get involved. So I'm gonna take my Game of Phones deck now and give it a bit of a shuffle. So we're shuffling the deck. I'm getting better at shuffling here now. I haven't dropped any today, which is good. It's hard to look at the camera and shuffle the cards at the same time. All right, here we go. Drawing our next Game of Phones entrant. Our next Game of Phone entrance is... wow, okay. The most obsessive app organizer wins this card. That's right. So what you'll need to do is get a screenshot of your phone apps, and if you've got them very, very well organized in terms of subfolders and other bits and pieces, then you'll do really well with this. If you haven't, then getting in first always gets you a point, so it's always good to get in quick. And you might be chaotic and crazy with your app organization setup. I think I'll broaden it out. I mean, if you've got an example of where you are wildly over-organized, then I think we'd like to see that as well. Remember, that's at oddrev at oddrev on Facebook, so you can find us there. We're also oddrev on Instagram and oddrev on Twitter. I've done a bit of work this week getting all of my domain names and links the same. As well as that, if you're interested in reading some of my thoughts, I've got a blog which is also oddrev.com, and that's on WordPress, so you can find me there as well. Now, onto my bit of a rant. Now, one of the things that I've been noticing recently is that we've become a society of critics. And I know my friends will tell me, and they often complain to me that I love everything, that I enjoy everything, and that I look for the bright side in all things. But I'm noticing that we've become a society of complainers. And I saw this the other day. A petition urging HBO to remake Game of Thrones Season 8. Now, I'm not going to give you any spoilers here, but nearly 500,000 people have decided that they want to be armchair producers and directors. That's right, the story hasn't turned out the way that they want to, so they've got online and they've created a petition and they've made a complaint. Now, I've looked at some of the stats here, and nearly 20 million people have actually watched this show so far, and have tuned in to watch it. And there's been a bit of a run, I think, recently of people feeling that they can air their dissatisfaction with other people's art, other people's creative processes. And I just want to sort of say, hey, what kind of society are we becoming when our first impulse often is to look for the opportunity not to like stuff? Not to like stuff. Now, I'm old, I know, 47, and I went to see Star Wars at the movies when it came out in 1977, and I was aware that in order to make that great scene in Star Wars, sorry if this is spoilers for anyone, but that great scene in Star Wars, A New Hope, it wasn't called A New Hope then because back then it was just Star Wars because we didn't need titles because it was just the one. They made that using shopping trolleys and cameras mounted in a car park. And they worked really, really hard on that, and they were applauded for providing us with what at this time was rare, excellent science fiction and fantasy. I think we've become a little spoiled. I think there's now so much science fiction and fantasy that we feel like we have the right to criticize the hard work and creative genius of people. Sure, have your own opinions. Write your fanfic. Give us another option. Be creative. But petitions? Really? 500,000 of you out there writing petitions because you'll want to call a wambulance because it didn't turn out the way you wanted? Look, let's have another think. That's my rant for today, and I appreciate that. Now, I just wanted to test this out just to see how crazy it could be, and I want to show you this picture. Now, you might recognize it. It's Da Vinci's Last Supper, and I think I want to start a petition to get Da Vinci to change the Last Supper, because when I think about it, there are a number of things that are wrong with this picture. For starters, they're sitting at a table. Now, they wouldn't have been sitting at a table, I don't think. Not in first century Palestine. They would have been potentially sitting on the floor. They probably would have been in somewhere that wasn't anywhere near as glamorous or glorious as this. But what I don't like about this picture most of all, and Da Vinci, I really want you to rework on this, is that it breaks the fourth wall. I mean, who all sits on one side of a table and looks out? What the hell? Like, you know, they all gathered around the table, or maybe I see what may have happened. They may have actually got the waiter to actually take a picture for them, so they all gathered around their side of the picture. But that means that this is a staged picture, not a real one. So I really think that this piece of art needs to be reworked and redone, and I'd like to see who might be with me in getting Da Vinci to rework this piece of art. There'll be some logistics we'll have to do, some temporal issues we'll have to work through, but I think that if we get enough petitions, we might be able to get this piece of art sorted out. I know I'm mocking petitioners, but guys, can't you just love stuff? Just think about that for a moment. What a privilege it is. What a remarkable opportunity it is for us to be able to see the imaginative works and creative art of science fiction and fantasy writers, and to have some people decide that they love it enough to bring it to life. Can we do more than just complain? All right, that's about it from me. I've been going for about 10 minutes. Don't forget, Game of Phones, if you want to be in it. Look for who has the most organized app setup or some other kind of organizational setup that is worthy of note. Send that in to us at oddrev at Facebook. You can also make a comment below, and please like and subscribe. That's all from me, Will Nicholas at Never Odd or Even. I'll catch up with you next time.